Welcome back to Rubbing Minds, and of course, moving on very quickly, touching on some of the topics making the headlines during the week. We have Okwe Onodipe, a development expert and analyst with the World Bank.
Yes.
How you doing?
Thank you. Not too bad, you?
Great to have you on board. Quickly, our president is back, 49 days. He's back in the country, putting fears and all the conspiracy theories down the trash bin. It's good to have him back in the country, and of course, the vice president is still in the acting capacity. What message do you think Mr. President is sending out by doing this?
I think he's sending not the right message. I think he needs to really send a message of confidence back to Nigeria, and because he has been incapacitated, not being on seat, and being weak. I think he doesn't play to our strengths, and we really need to be We need to be strong on the international scene, especially in developing and talking to other countries and in negotiating. I think it's not right. Because they see, for instance, take the example of the US, and I remember just recently when Hillary Clinton was sick during the presidential campaign, and she had pneumonia, and it was a big deal, and they had to make a big deal. And so I was wondering why we are not making a big deal here, and why we are not pressing on our president to be strong.
The argument might be, I mean, to the best of my knowledge, nobody will want to deliberately be ill and be sick and be out of commission. And between himself and the vice president, they've been able to manage that, if I can use the word, especially in the last couple of weeks. A lot of development and a positive image has been pushed out there. But do you think being in the country and still having the vice president as the acting president was a good move by the president, despite the fact that he wants to still have time to recover fully? Some have the opinion that that was a step in the right direction, somewhere like he should have just taken over when he got back.
Yeah, I also think it's not quite right, because it now seems two people are in charge, and it can also cause conflict. Because on one hand, you can have Oshibajo saying one thing or having a particular view, or he wants to take things in this direction, and the president not having that. So that can also even cause problems in the presidency, which, of course, it will trickle down to us and have impact on the people.
I think this might be the first time it's happening in our history.
Exactly, this is the first time. So, and we don't want that, do we? And we don't want two leaders battling out on the national stage, and it's not good for our image as a country.
It's glad to have Mr. President back, hale and healthy, and of course we do wish him the quickest recovery. Yes. World Bank donates to develop to IDP in the Northeast. What's that about?
Okay, so they are donating, but it's really not sure, because now there are also conflicting results, saying on the one hand you are hearing 800 million, World Bank donating 800 million. They're saying it's not up to 1 billion. But the main thing, the first thing I thought about when I heard this news was, okay, at first, sometimes they also make statements and they have not actually implemented it. So it's on one hand making bogus statements and on one hand implementing. So I'm still waiting for them to implement it. But it's good in the right direction. And being that there are a lot of IDPs, but I think what we should really focus on is looking at consultants and NGOs that are doing work right now on ground in the Northeast. And those are, for instance, the French company, the French NGO also doing their work there, UNDP also doing work there, doing great work, which we really must commend them for doing. And I think a lot of Nigerians should wake up, and we should also try maybe to do a lot of work to help the IDPs, because these IDPs, they are also fleeing to Cameroon, fleeing to Niger.
There's a spillover,
and it's of course, a spillover, a huge spillover, which is causing a lot of problems. And
all right.
Unemployment, yes.
Okay, let's move on to this next story. Governor of Kaduna State, Nasir El-Rufai, last week at the Social Media Week in Lagos, vowed to prosecute anyone found wanting. And true to his word, Audu was rearrested. Audu Maikori was rearrested. And he said and I'm going to quote this, during the Social Media Week, he said, and I quote, he claims that Audu's post may have incited violence in southern Kaduna. And the tweet that he's referring to was just, "Not a very Merry Christmas for the people of southern Kaduna." End of quote. That was a tweet, and then a picture to go with that. But a lot of people are of the opinion that it's unfortunate that the governor is making the issue more about Audu than bringing to book the culprits, so to speak. I mean, the real issues are that hundreds of people from southern Kaduna have been killed in the past year. And as bad as it might be, or whatever the case might be, there seems to be a lot more focus on the arrest or the rearrest of Audu. Do you think this is the best way to go about this particular issue, even though Audu has come out and has apologized, and literally and he's not even feeling too fine. He's ill and was rearrested again.
Yeah, I think you're right on that issue in the sense that I think it's a non-issue, in fact, first of all, in the sense that he has already apologized. We should just move on from that and just let bygones be bygones, and let's confront the situation exactly at the matter, which is the amount of people that are on the streets there. So like that's what we should really focus on and forget all of that. He has apologized, and I really think it's a non-issue, to tell you the truth.
But, okay, let's just move on quickly to the airlines. I want to try and cover as many stories. Airlines cancel 4,300 flights to Kaduna Airport. We're aware that the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja, the next 6 weeks may have cancelled the following number of flights. 7 out of the 8 international airlines flying Abuja Airport have suspended flights to the Kaduna Airport. This is going on whether we like it or not, but what do you think is the ripple effect of this movement of the international airport from Abuja to Kaduna?
On so many things. We can start from now to tomorrow to talk about how many impacts it's going to be. Of course, trade. One big one is trade.
Yeah.
You know, how many trade is going to move by air freight. So, like, the first thing I thought when I heard this news, and even the whole debacle of the whole closing the international airport, how long did they inform Nigerians, especially businessmen, people that are doing trade? How did they inform them prior to this so that they would change their routes? And they said they told them prior to this, but it wasn't enough in the sense that there wasn't even a national debate, which that's one thing I was even curious about that, because I think that is one thing we should also always try to strive to do. Make it a national debate issue first before even implementing the policy. So even just when it's in the works, the idea is in works, bring it out to people like us on channels and talk about this issue and have a proper discussion about it. How it's going to affect trade people. Did they get to real trade people to talk to them about this issue and know what they're thinking and how they're going to go about it? And if they're going to subsidize some for what they're going to lose, the business they're going to lose.
But let's look at the positives as well from this particular move. I mean, a lot of people now are utilizing the railway, for example. A number of people didn't even know it existed. So from Kaduna to Abuja now, the railways, I think it's about an hour, if I'm correct, an hour and a half journey. Business is booming in Kaduna. But at the end of the day, it all boils down to the numbers and the comparison. Do you think there's anything else that could have been done differently to accommodate this? You've mentioned the debate, but is there any other thing you could bring?